The Seattle Mariners go for an incredible ninth straight series win, and my Halos walk it off against the Blue Jays down in Anaheim. We've got that and so much more. We're taking you all around MLB and Major League Baseball. This is Locked On MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Thanks for being here for this edition of MLB Game Night, where it's every game, every night. My name is John Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels. With me is JD Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. We're taking you all around the league to tons of big stories around MLB today. Robbie Ray and the Giants looking to stay hot in Chicago. Max Fried trying to stay unbeaten on the season as the Yanks host the Padres in the rubber match. And one of the top arms in the National League has to leave his game with an injury. We'll get to all of that and much, much more. But first, let's thank our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. JD, let's start in Sacramento, where the A's are hosting the hot Seattle Mariners. 6-5 win. The Mariners might be the hottest team in baseball. It's their best start since 2023. Man, they were down in this one. They get 5 back, and then they're down 5-0 in the 5th. They get 1 back, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 8th, win it 6-5. How did the Mariners get their 9th straight series victory? Well, Ty Dane Gonzalez, the local expert from Locked On Mariners, has the insight for us.
Getting to feel like a broken record talking about this Mariners ball club, and I am absolutely fine with that. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. What a freaking win, right? Mariners stormed back down 5-0 to stun the A's 6-5 this afternoon to secure their 9th consecutive series victory. This is the hottest team in baseball, folks. And when one aspect of this ball club scuffles, the rest of the team finds a way to pick them up. Today, Brian Wu didn't have his best stuff. He gets jumped all over by this A's lineup, which he has historically dominated, gives up 5 runs, still was able to go 6 innings, which is huge and shouldn't be overlooked, but gives up 5 runs. The Mariners, again, find themselves in a 5-0 hole, and this offense picks things up. Rowdy Tellez, again, it's the bottom of the order. Rowdy Tellez with a 3-run home run to bring the Mariners back into this game. And then the new guy, Leody Taveras, with a game-tying CNI single. Dylan Moore takes the lead on an RBI double into the right center field gap. And Andres Munoz does what he always does. Best reliever in the game, baby. We're going to talk about it all on the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Hope to see you there. Peace.
What are you laughing at, JD?
Munoz, best reliever in the game. All right, get off your high horse. Give me a break. That is not reality. Pretty sure I saw him struggle against the A's in this very series. Give me a break.
Well, speaking of the A's, we've got the A's perspective from Booney. Not very happy with some of the decisions being made in these last few games. Here we go.
Got back from Sacramento and witnessed 2 of the worst managed games I've ever seen in my life. This is Booney from Locked On A's, and Mark Kotsay made decisions that defied logic. It seems like every time something is going okay for the A's, the world feels like it needs to correct itself and weird things just start happening. Because Mark Kotsay couldn't consciously make the decisions he made today. I have never seen anything like it. A's up 5-0 into the 6th. And then weird things just really started happening. Mariners come all the way back, win 6-5. I don't even think they won. Kotsay, here you go, Ems. Here's a win. It was just all so weird, man. Weird things, man. Yeah. I got nothing for you. I'm going live at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time to vent a little. And if you're on the sensitive side, probably a good idea you don't come.
He's dumbfounded, JD. What's up with Kotze's decisions and the Seattle Mariners? I mean, look, Seattle Mariners have a great pitching staff, but they got some guys on the IL. Who would have thought their offense would be carrying them through this first part of the season right now?
Yeah, the numbers show that Seattle has been one of MLB's best at the plate in late game situations. And it's like everybody's chipping in, It's not just Cal Raleigh, which he's got one of the greatest nicknames in all of baseball, the Big Dumper, Julio Rodriguez. It's not just these guys. You've got Jorge Polanco, who's been out of his mind, JP
Right.
Crawford, Randy Arozarena, Miles Mastrobuoni, a.k.a. CJ Crone in witness protection. We've talked about this. Something from everyone to get those W's right now in Seattle. And I know Munoz has been really, really good. I just happened to see him struggle the other night. That was all. But yeah, he's been really good. No earned runs yet this year. So, hey, I take it back. Munoz, you're on fire.
Yeah, that 0 ERA. You like that. Hey, Padres, Yankees, the 4-3 victory from the Yankees in 10 innings. This was a pitcher's duel in the rubber match of a 3-game set between New York and San Diego. Max Fried for the Yanks, Dylan Cease for the Padres. Cease took a no-hitter into the 7th before Bellinger put one in the seats. Max Fried gave up a solo homer to Jackson Merrill, but he leaves the game with an AL best 1.05 ERA on the year. Trent Grisham, what about this guy? 9 home runs in 76 games last year. He's already got his 10th home run this year, JD. And Devin Williams escaped a 10th inning bases loaded jam. Lots of Yankee fans on social media saying he needed that one. Is this where Devin Williams turns it around, JD?
Personally, I hope so, because Devin Williams is actually from the St. Louis area, grew up very close to where I grew up. And as much as I hated seeing him all those years with Milwaukee, just mowing down the Cardinals, I hate seeing him struggle in New York because he's a good guy. And, not everybody is meant to be in New York. And it's been a struggle for him so far. And so I was really happy to see him come through in that 10th inning when he got out of that bases loaded jam. The dude is good. He's just a bit off right now. He's trying to figure some stuff out, trying to work on the control of that fastball. But there's not a team in baseball who wouldn't want Devin Williams in their bullpen. More than happy to take him in St. Louis if the Yankees fans don't want him. We're more than happy to bring him in.
There you go. Hey, Javi from Locked On Padres discusses the excitement around the game despite his Padres taking the loss in this one.
It was a thriller. It was in many ways a banger, dare I say playoff atmosphere type of game, but the Padres lose the final game of this 3-game set against the Yankees, and the vibes were awesome to start the game. Dylan Cease, by far his best start of the season, going nearly 7 innings without allowing a hit before giving up a Cody Bellinger bomb to all people. It's Cody Bellinger. The Dodgerness never leaves. You know what I mean? Apparently it never leaves. And then the Padres take the lead back, though, thanks to Jackson Merrill's, solo shot to begin the game. And then he hits a big single to drive in Tatis. And then Xander Bogaerts hits a sac fly. But then Jason Adam, horrible pitch sequence, in my opinion, to Trent Grisham. 4 straight changeups. He takes him deep. He gets his revenge for the second time this series against the Padres. Not great. And then to conclude the game with the zombie runner on second, your 3 highest paid players in Tatis, Machado, and Bogaerts all strike out. Not great for the Padres. Still a good team, but hate the result.
Good stuff there from Javi of Locked On Padres, letting us know, how it goes.
Real quick, John, before we move on to another game, didn't really mention the Dylan Cease injury that took place, which got him out of that game after he gave up the first hit. And the reaction to the injury, this is what makes me a little bit nervous about what he might be dealing with. Obviously, we're not doctors. We don't play one on TV, but just going off of what I've seen in body language, he was kind of flexing that forearm and
shaking out that
his hand a little bit. So you hope it's not an elbow issue or like a nerve issue of some sort where maybe there was some numbness there, because that would be a major blow to that rotation in San Diego. Absolutely.
Speaking of good pitchers in the National League who had to leave their games with an apparent injury, the Reds over the Braves 4-3. The Reds snap a 4-game skid, but Hunter Greene left this one early. For more, we're going to go to the local expert, Jeff Carr of the Locked On Reds podcast.
Its 4-game losing streak is over. They snap it with a 4-3 victory over the Atlanta Braves on Wednesday night. but quite frankly, the result of the game is mired by what happened in the fourth inning. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And right before he was ready to pitch the bottom of the fourth inning, Hunter Greene, while throwing warm-up pitches, felt something in his groin as far as a tweak or a pop or something. He signaled to the dugout. Trainers came out. Terry Francona came out. Derek Johnson came out. There was a meeting of the minds on the mound, and he ended up leaving the game. There has been no report as of yet as to the severity of the injury, but him coming off the mound was very concerning to see. We'll definitely be breaking that down on the next Locked On Reds podcast. Happy for the win. Happy to see them get back to 500 and a 2-homer game for TJ Friedl. But there's a big old cloud over all of this because any time without Hunter Greene is not a good time.
Yeah, TJ Friedl doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this one for the Reds. Let's take it over to Phillies, meeting the Rays down in Tampa, actually Tampa, not St. Pete. 7-0. Phillies shut out the Rays. And with the win today, the Phillies have won 8 of their last 10. Let's go to Connor Thomas of Locked On Phillies, who says it was just another day for his fighting Phils.
The Phillies absolutely cook the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. It was just another day for one of the hottest teams in baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies. The offense outstanding again. And they didn't do it with really the long ball. No, they did it by just collecting hits and creating opportunities on the base paths, and they cashed everything in. That's the way this team should win when things are going well. They're going to hit homers, but my goodness, it's nice to see pretty much everybody in the lineup contributing. Christopher Sanchez, awesome in this one. A really, really good start. He looked a little shaky early. Really settled in for the Phillies. The pitching has been good. The hitting has been good. Heck, even Taiwan Walker coming in, closing things down, getting the first save of his major league career. Everything is going the Philadelphia Phillies way right now. We'll see if they can go for the sweep in Tampa tomorrow. I'll talk to you on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Fun fact about Taiwan Walker, I went to school with Taiwan Walker, same high school. He struck out the first 5 that he faced and struck out 7 across 3 innings to earn that save. So good stuff for the Phillies, a nice, clean win for them. Hey, we're going to continue our look around the league with Juan Soto doing Juan Soto things, as always, and putting 2 in the seats. We'll get into all of that coming right up.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website, absolutely packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right, because that's what you want. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, they got you covered. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person, which is not always happening in this day and age. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, don't forget about their free Trade Master program. It offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You get free shipping and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. What are you waiting for? Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, if you use that promo code SH5, you get 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances. You've got major momentum shifts and can't miss moments. The NBA playoffs have been bonkers so far. So much fun to watch, and whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel is there for you. They make it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. That's what we're all in it for, right? We want to win big. So which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? You see somebody you feel like he's starting to feel the flow a little bit from 3-point range, that's the guy you go in on. If you've got a read on who's heating up, like I said, why not back it up with the same game parlay? And how could a $200 bonus in bets add to the excitement of your first $5 bet? After that one hits, keep it going, baby. Keep it going. You can check FanDuel for current playoff odds and player props to include in each and every time that you go into the FanDuel app. Now, if you're new to FanDuel, don't forget it's the perfect time to actually sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. And if it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's right. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Back here on Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night. We're taking it to Wrigley one more time with the Giants taking a 3-1 victory over the Cubbies. 2 National League playoff hopefuls finishing this 3-game set after a wild game 2 where the Giants put up 9 runs in the 11th inning. And we had Sam of Locked On Cubs to tell us that, this was a more normal game, but here's what he thought went wrong for his Cubbies against the Giants.
A disappointing series loss for the Chicago Cubs at the hands of the San Francisco Giants. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and the Cubs have now lost back-to-back home series after winning the first game. And what seems to be happening, and on Wednesday was a 3-1 defeat, is the Cubs are finally seeing a little bit of regression to the mean on offense. Seiya Suzuki really struggling. Michael Busch really struggling, even though he didn't start on Wednesday. Carson Kelly can't hit home runs every game. Pete's swinging a lot. This is stuff that you expected to happen. The way to counter it, the way to get through it, the way to survive it, is you got to make all the easy plays defensively, and you got to get a couple clutch hits, and instead of scoring 1 run, can you score 3? Can you grind out a 3-2? Can you win a 2-1? Can you win a 4-3? That's been the one thing the Cubs haven't been able to do a whole lot this year, is just kind of find a way to win a game here and there when they don't score 7, 8, 9 runs. So we'll see what happens. They have a tough series coming up this weekend in Queens against the Mets, but a much-needed day off on Thursday. We'll talk about this series and more later today on the Locked On Cubs podcast.
JD, I'm a stats nerd, and I love myself some baseball savant, and you can't
shame in that.
You can't escape the expected numbers, my friend. They'll always get you. They're always coming for you, and they'll always get you. Now let's head over to Ben from Locked On Giants, who's got the insight on how they were able to have a little magic formula that they've been rolling with for a while now.
The Giants take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs after losing the first game, and this is on the road, and you had a crazy game in the middle where you had a lead in the 9th, you blew it, you didn't score in the top of the 10th, you held them scoreless in the bottom of the 10th, and then you put up a 9 spot in the top of the 11th. This is Ben Kasvik with the Locked On Giants podcast. A lot of people kind of wrote off, I would imagine, that the Giants won 3 out of 4 against the Rockies after losing the first game of the series. I discussed how big I thought that was to win 3 out of 4, even against an inferior team after losing the first game. Well, now you go and you do it on the road against a Cubs team that they've been scoring runs like crazy, and the Giants hold them to 1 run today. Robbie Ray and the bullpen, Tyler Rogers, Camilo Doval, and Ryan Walker redemption after blowing a 2-run 9th inning lead last night. It's just the mark of a good team, and the Giants are 10 games over 500, 24-14. They're 1 back of the Dodgers for the best record in baseball. 3 best teams in baseball: Dodgers, Padres, who are a half game up on the Giants, and Giants, all in the National League West. Go figure. So we'll break this down today on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
That National League West is a slugfest right now. They're all just trying to keep in first place, and you got 3 teams toward the top just racing for it. Speaking of which, JD, take us to Miami, where the Dodgers met the Marlins in a 10-1 victory.
Yeah, it was actually was a game that was very close. There was no scoring for quite some time, and then things kind of got out of hand for the Marlins. So why don't we check in with one of our Locked On, Jeremiah. Let's just go to Jeremiah with the Marlins to talk about how things fell apart for the Marlins.
I can't recall the last time I watched the game and was so excited with what was going on, and then it all just crumbled apart in front of my eyes. What's up, guys? It's Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins. Valente Beozo was dealing. He went 5 shutout, only 1 hit, struck out 7 Dodgers, and the Marlins had an opportunity to go take the series from the defending world champs. And then it all fell apart. Clayton McCullough pulls Beozo after 5 innings. It's the 3rd time through the order. And the bullpen unraveled in diabolical ways. 10 runs the Dodgers scored in the later innings. It was just a mess. Just a complete collapse by this Marlins team. That one hurt. That one's frustrating because Valente Beozo deserved a better result. He deserved a win. If any pitcher deserved a win tonight, it was Valente Beozo for the Marlins. Check out Locked On Marlins for more. I'm going to be doing a live show on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you tune in for that.
Even the dog was upset with that loss, and poor Valente Beozo. Now, Vince has what went right for the Dodgers from Locked On Dodgers. Let's see what he had to say. Now, everybody kind of put together a win, in an effort in this win.
The Dodgers needed a good start from Landon Knack. The Dodgers needed some help from the bottom of the order, and they got both in a big win in Miami to close out the series. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers, and Landon Knack came through for the Dodgers, giving them 5+ innings when they needed 5+ innings. We got the unfortunate news that Evan Phillips went on the IL before the game, but Matt Sauer was his replacement. He ended up closing out the game, so the Dodgers were able to save some of their arms for the big weekend series in Arizona. So, shout out to Knack, shout out to Sauer for doing what they need to do. And the bottom of the order came through. Top of the order still did their job, but bottom of the order came through. Kiki Hernandez, a couple hits. Ha-Seong Kim, a couple hits. James Outman, a key walk and a big 3-run homer once the game was out of hand. But it was Freddie Freeman with the back-breaking hit, continuing his torrid pace and putting himself in the MVP conversation a little bit. We're going to talk about all of it and more on Locked On Dodgers, where we get podcasts and on YouTube.
Dodgers injuries just keep mounting up in that pitching staff, John. They're going to be going to Arizona to face the Diamondbacks next, and I know they had a tough time with the Mets. We're going to get to their game here in a bit, but this is a chance for Arizona to really make up some ground and take advantage of these injuries.
Yeah, and the Dodgers just kind of rolling over the Marlins for like the second time in a little over a week, and so that they're adding a lot of wins that way. And meanwhile, the Padres are duking it out with the Yanks and the Cubs and Giants are fighting back and forth, 2 NL powerhouses. So Dodgers, they better get it together before they start facing some division rivals. Let's take it over to the White Sox and the Royals. Wasn't a shutout, but the Royals take their 5th win in a row, the series against the White Sox, and they're 8-2 in their last 10. Suddenly, they're back in the hunt in the AL Central. Let's take it over to Jack from Locked On Royals to see how the Royals got it done against the White Sox.
Make it 5 straight wins for the Royals as they hang on tonight for a 2-1 win over the Chicago White Sox, and they'll go for a 4-game sweep tomorrow. I'm the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few takeaways from Kansas City's 22nd win of the 2025 season. Number 1, you're still waiting for that offense to come around, but as I've said in so many of these recaps, the starting pitching has just been so damn good. And the bullpen, I'm not even going to say Carlos Estevez has ruined the trend of this bullpen. He wasn't great tonight, but the most important part is that he got through that game and kept the lead intact to hang on for his 11th save. But Michael Wacha, absolutely flawless. Maybe the main takeaway in this one is going to go back to a question I've been getting all night, which is, why is Lucas Erceg not the closer? Well, I will say that I'll break it down in tonight's episode and probably in the first segment, but I will say that this team at its best needs Erceg in the fireman role and Carlos Estevez closing out games in the 9th.
I could have told him that Carlos Estevez would have games like that. Every now and then he makes it a little interesting.
All they had to do was text you, John. You're quite familiar with them, but yeah, it was cool to see Michael Wacha, a former Cardinal, come up when he first started his career. He was so good, had the injuries, which took their toll. Happy to see him succeeding with the Royals. That rotation's kind of naughty, isn't it? Him and Bubich and Lugo and Reagans with that bullpen back there. Good luck beating the Royals.
Exactly. And speaking of good luck, how about the Mets over the Diamondbacks. 7-1 for the Mets out in Arizona. Juan Soto with a 2-homer day. That's not luck. That's just Juan Soto finding his rhythm to get this season started. Over his last 19 games, a 300 average, a 407 on base percentage, 543 slugging percentage. Chris from the Locked On Mets postcast tells us what the winning formula was for the Mets as they moved to 24-14.
Simple formula for the New York Mets today. Some excellent defense and Juan Soto being Juan Soto. The Mets picked up their first series win in a little bit, taking the last game from the Arizona Diamondbacks by a final score of 7-1. They helped Kodai Senga work out of some trouble in the first couple of innings behind some excellent defense. Everybody contributed. Luis Torrens threw out a runner, stealing a base. A relay from the outfield throws out a runner at home. Torrens made another great play behind the plate. The Mets played some great defense after being sloppy the night before, and it is another multi-home run game for Juan Soto against the Diamondbacks, his second of the season. He's up to 7 home runs on the year. 4 of them have come against this team. It is a very welcomed off day for the Mets now with this series win in their back pocket. They'll return home to take on the Chicago Cubs starting on Friday.
Good stuff there from Chris. And again, Juan Soto just doing Juan Soto things. Hey, we're going to continue our look around the league, and I'm going to celebrate a walk-off win despite Angels manager Ron Washington doing everything he can to help his team lose. We'll get into all of that coming right. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Wonderful Pistachios. Baseball season is in full swing. The best snack to bring with you to a game is Wonderful Pistachios. So you can grab some at wonderfulpistachios.com right now. Get on there. Pause the video. Get on there. Well, we're live, so I guess you can't really pause it. But it's a snack that's both delicious and nutritious. It's filled with a good source of protein, one of the highest protein nuts out there. Each 1-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better-for-you unsaturated fats to help keep you going all day. Maybe pick up the no-shells variety so you can eat them by the handful. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for busy days. And if you love cracking open every shell, like me, and you need like a sunflower seed substitute at the game, the in-shell variety is a classic favorite. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Doing a little rapid fire as we finish our look around the league. JD, the Astros over the Brewers 9-1. The Astros were looking for some offense and they finally got some. Let's take it over to Brett from Locked On Astros, who tells us how the Houston Astros got it done.
Small ball prevailed today. The bats woke up. Yordan Alvarez still absent, but big game. Fromber showed up. Hello, I'm H. Wheelhouse here with Locked On Astros. And the Astros win big in Milwaukee to have a great flight home before they face the Reds here back in H-Town. Fromber had a really solid game. He was big game Fromber today. Jeremy Pena, a first pitch 3-run home run. And Brendan Rodgers, even though he didn't hit another 3-run home run, he still looked good at the plate. He contributed with his glove as well. The Houston Astros climbed back to 500 and relevance once again in the AL West. Even though they are 4 games out of first place, that is okay. And some good news, Yordan Alvarez's hand issue is not something they are super concerned about. He basically needs rest. He gets rest. He gets reset. This lineup continues and will continue to put up multiple runs like they did today. Stay tuned in to Locked On Astros. We're your team every day.
John, losing Alex Bregman to free agency. They trade Kyle Tucker. Slow start from Christian Walker, who was the big free agent pickup.
Right.
Yordan's out right now. The offense may not be as reliable as we're all used to when it comes to the Astros, but Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown at the top of your rotation, that's pretty good. Bullpen's been really good for Houston. I wouldn't turn my back on them in the AL West. Just saying it for your Angels.
I never would because every time it looks like they're out, they get pulled back in. Right now, take us to St. Louis, JD. Your Cardinals shut out the Pirates in this one.
Oh, it would be my pleasure to take you to St. Louis for this one because the Cardinals were going for their first sweep of the season. The Pirates try to snap that 6-game losing streak. and the Cardinals just took it to them. The Cardinals were able to win this one by a score of 5-0. They get back to the 500 mark. It seems like it's been forever since we've seen that. They've won their 5th straight game. They've now got 15 wins at home, tying them with the Dodgers for the most home wins this season so far. The pitching was outstanding. Sonny Gray, excellent today. 7 shutout innings. They're starting to figure out the roles for certain people in the bullpen. And if you haven't seen, I'm just going to tell you guys this. If you haven't seen center fielder Victor Scott II run yet, go watch the highlights of this game from him going from first to home, not once, but twice in this game, scored from first base on base hits. He's ranked 3rd in sprint speed behind Bobby Witt Jr., Byron Buxton. You know those people. You may not know Victor Scott yet, but it's worth the price of admission to see him fly around those bases.
Well, he outran that O'Neal Cruz 100-mile-an-hour missile from center field.
Still safe.
Yeah,
I don't care what they said. He wasn't out. He was safe.
Hey, let's take it over to the Guardians and the Nationals, where the Guardians complete the series win. It was a wild series between these two teams. The Guardians put up a ton of runs in this series. Let's go to Justin to tell us how the Guardians took the series and got it done in DC.
After going 14-8 in their last 22 games in 23 days, including a 4-2 road trip after their win on Wednesday at Washington, the Guardians finally have an off day. When you win that much, sometimes you don't want an off day, but they're getting one, and they have deserved it, honestly. This is Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians have played a very long stretch. Things got really wild in Washington this entire series. They scored 8 runs in all 3 games. They did it again with a 6-run inning on Wednesday in the finale, but things got wild as they did all series. The Nationals came back on Cade Smith and the Guardians' bullpen. The bullpen had just as many issues as the Nationals' bullpen, which apparently is contagious. Cade Smith 2 days in a row got hit, gave up a couple walks, and just wasn't good overall. The bullpen's been stretched very thin. They used Colby Allard in the 8th inning as a leverage setup man. They didn't want to do that. That's because Logan Allen didn't go very far in this one, and they just had to use the bullpen by playing 3 games in the span of less than 24 hours. Both teams had to do that. But the Guardians won 2 of them. That's what matters. They haven't played their best baseball yet, but they have the 2nd most wins in the American League. Maybe better baseball will come. Maybe it won't. But now they have an off day. They have the 2nd most wins in the American League before the Phillies come to town, and they have arguably their 3 best pitchers going in that series. We'll see if they're consistent enough. Tune into Locked On Guardians for more on Thursday.
I don't think Jose Ramirez has even begun to get started this season at all. So better baseball on the way for the Guardians. And the Rangers met the Red Sox in Boston, 6-4 Red Sox. 2 teams floating around 500, trying to get into the playoffs. You know, the Rangers made some offensive adjustments. They hired Brett Boon to help them with their offense, and they scored 4 runs. But JD, the Red Sox had just a little bit more help in this one, didn't they?
Yeah, it's safe to say that Alex Bregman signing with Boston, it's working out okay for the Red Sox. He had a big day. Also, you might see this this headline from this game as well. Aroldis Chapman hitting 103.8 on a fastball in this one. John, have you ever done anything at 104 miles per hour in your entire life?
I've watched Ben Joyce throw one of those before. So, you know, he might be the next Chapman without all the outside baseball nonsense. So there you go. Yeah, nothing ever at 104 miles an hour. I did get in a car accident with my brother once, but I don't think we were going 104 in that one. Orioles meet the Twins in Minnesota. Orioles stink, JD. Right now they're 13-22. Their rotation stinks right now. Charlie Morton's 0-7. I got duped by the Orioles because I saw the trade that said Luis Castillo to the O's. But then you had to tell me, no, John, not that Luis Castillo. It's Luis F. Castillo.
I was freaking out. I was like, wait, what? Why would Seattle do this? What are you talking about?
Right.
And then it was Luis F. Castillo. They have the middle initial in there. And I had to break the bad news to you because you were hoping he was no longer going to be in the AL West anymore.
Yeah.
Nope, he's good. He's still there.
Still there. All right, I got to brag on my Angels a bit. And despite Ron Washington going to Reed Detmers in a 1-1 game, the Angels were able to walk it off thanks to Jorge Soler with a double down the left field line. Player of the game, JD, is the Big A's left field, because anytime a ball goes down that line, it plinkos. Or remember Price is Right, plinko? It does that. And so that's how he was able to clear the bases. But I was just complaining to you about Reed Detmers, I think, last week, and Ron Washington bringing him in high leverage. just a bad decision. So the Angels win despite their own manager trying to put them behind the 8 ball. All right, wrap it up for us, JD, with the Tigers meeting the Rockies in 10 innings.
Yeah, Tigers are holding on to first place in the AL Central as the rest of the division tries to catch up, and they get a chance to beat up on the Rockies. But we all know you never know what the hell is going to happen when you play in Colorado. Anything and everything will happen. So, of course, the Tigers and the Rockies are knotted up, and they have to go to extra innings in this one. And the Tigers end up playing a couple in the extra frame, and the Rockies are unable to come back from that. A couple of Rockies errors allow Torkelson to score. He had that big double with the ghost runner Riley Greene on second base. So Detroit ends up prevailing over Colorado. Jackson Jobe, super talented young pitcher for Detroit, found out the hard way of how difficult things can be when you pitch in Colorado.
Right.
And then you had Chase Dollander, the young right-hander for the Rockies. Just words of wisdom to both of you young pitchers. There will be better days. Don't get upset about what happens to you at Coors Field because, again, nobody knows. It's going to be a crapshoot almost each and every game.
Give it up to Will Vest for pitching the 9th and the 10th to earn the win in this one as well. Shout out to the Tigers closer there. Hey, we appreciate you being here for Locked On MLB Game Night. Again, it's every game, every night. We hope you'll come back and tune in tomorrow. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends. And don't forget, it's also on your audio podcast feeds. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can listen to Locked On MLB Game Night. That's going to do it for us here. On behalf of my friend JD Hafron, I'm John Frisch. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you back here for another edition of Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.